Hey there, everyone. Here we are again. Isn't it great that we get to do this shit like every day? I think it's pretty awesome. So, we'll move through some pretty therapeutic stuff today, slowing things down a little. Have all your good things with you, your blanket, your bolster, your block, the 3 Bs. And let's start today in just easy pose, or sorry, square pose. So you start in your Sukhasana, but we want to push the legs away from us a bit. It doesn't matter what leg's in front because we'll do both. So wherever you are, just work to push the leg closest to you away and into the front leg so you create a square-like shape. Is it the best square in the world? No, that's okay. Just try to have your shins parallel and we'll sit nice and tall. Hands rest onto the thighs. Now, when we sit tall here, things are gonna feel a little bit different than they do in our Sukhasana. So you may feel a little bit more pulling or stretching through the IT bands or the outer thighs. You may discover that it's a little bit trickier for you to sit tall. You may discover it's a little trickier for you to open your chest. Maybe not. Just observe what's going on in this position for you today. I know for myself, while I'm here, I need to focus on softening because my tendency is to try to sit really tall, but the tension in my IT bands needs to soften before that can open up. So just see what happens for you. These tiny shifts on the outside in our asana and our posture can make some pretty big shifts from our inner perspective. And just breathe in and breathe out. And find the space of ease with wherever you're at here, as best as you can, of course. And the more we get good at tapping into this sense of ease, the better we are at tuning into the state of our nervous system and actually being able to step back and be witness so that we can, in real time, address our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and stay grounded without getting caught up in any tornadoes of emotion or whirlwinds of drama. We simply allow life to happen, understand that suffering is part of life, and that when we respond in a way that's full of stress, full of drama, that's utilizing energy in a way that could certainly be better used if we learn how to ground ourselves and solve our problems or sit with our issues or sit with ourselves just in general. So observe the use of your energy sitting here and now. Notice the spaces where you have systems continuously running and using your energy, but maybe they don't need to be. Like, notice your anxious thoughts. Now, from here, take your time. We're moving nice and slowly and in small increments. So your hands, they could stay on your knees or you might move them to the floor. You do you, we're going slow. Start to lean to the left and bring your right foot to the mat. So you just undo that a little bit. And then come back to center with your right leg in front. Lean back to the left, bring your right foot down. Bring your right foot to deer pose. And pause. Breathe all the way in. As you exhale, lean to the left, bring your right foot forward, foot on the mat, bring the right leg across. Okay, we've got one more. I know that if you've got tension, it's building up. Bring the right sole to the mat, come to deer. Keep leaning to the left. You might want your hands on the mat. We're lengthening the right leg back. Keep the toes out. So you're in kind of like a lazy pigeon just for a sec. Just breathe in here. Then as you breathe out, just slide your right knee back up to your left foot. Notice your glute come down, and we'll lean, lengthen back. This time, tuck your toes under as you look back. Then we'll soften out of that. Slowly slide the knee back forward to your deer. And one more time. Now we'll slide the leg back, tuck the toes, and this time we're repositioning into our pigeon pose. So you might want to slide your left heel in so that you can square up your hips and your shoulders with the front of your mat. Your right quadricep is pointing down at this point. Your chest is lifted. Come up onto your fingertips and see if your left sit bone can come away from the ground so you find some lift here. Just breathe in. As you breathe out, plant your palms. You might want to walk the hands a little further forward. We're just doing a halfway bow here, and then we're pushing back up. Inhale. Exhale, just halfway bow. Let your elbows bend, your chest lowers just a bit. We inhale, push up. And exhale. This time we'll come all the way down. Maybe your elbows come to the mat. Your right leg is lengthened back. Your left foot is relaxed. You can flex the foot if you prefer to, but just make sure that the ankle feels comfortable. Sometimes the way that we position our body, it puts too much weight in one area or another. So just being conscious. And instead of getting caught up in thoughts in the mind that say things like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it wrong, this isn't good enough, or, oh, I'm running out of time, all of these rushing type thoughts, we instead just bring ourselves to the moment and recognize, oh, hey, that's a bit uncomfortable. I wonder what happens if I just make an adjustment. So replacing anxiety with curiosity changes the whole shift of your perspective. The whole feeling in your body will completely change from anxiety to being grounded. Just be curious about the moment. Nice and easy from here. Just start to come up onto your hands and just go nice and easy. Gently lean to the left. Let your back leg start to turn out. Your knee pulls up to your deer. Your right foot steps forward. Hands reach forward. Hips come up. Hands can come down to the mat, so you can now lengthen your left leg back. You're in dragon's lunge. You may want, of course, a blanket under your back knee. You may want your block for your elbows eventually. Be where you need to, but just have your stuff. And just breathe all the way in and all the way out. And let's heel toe the right foot over to the right, toes point out. And you could let the right knee just kind of open up to the right as you peel the sole of the foot off the mat. We'll hang out here. If you want to kind of rock with ease, side to side, or you could even make little circular motions, just tiny movements, noticing what's happening in your hips and your legs. Mm-hmm. Eventually, just coming into stillness. And bring your right knee up, toes point forward. Then you can lower your right elbow down and left elbow down onto your block, onto your mat, whatever you got going on. Now, if you do want to continue, you can open your right knee out again. If that feels good, you can by all means play in that space today. But if you'd prefer to hang out in your dragon posture with the legs still and the knee up, then do that too. Just see what works today. Dance between the spaces. See if you can breathe into your mid back. And then take your time from here. Let's come up onto the hands, your right knee facing up if it was out. Hips pull back in space. We lengthen the right leg. Keep the sole down for a moment as your chest reaches forward. Then we'll shine the toes to the ceiling and flex the foot. Feel your right hip pull back a little bit. Breathe in and breathe out. Beautiful. Now from here, mindfully, just start to sweep the right leg out to the right, all the way around back. Bend your knee, plant the foot on the mat behind you, plant your left foot on the mat, lift the hips, reach your right hand forward. Yes, press into your heels. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll look down to the mat, let your hips lower until you feel safe to bring your left knee down. We'll come to table, right hand, right knee, come down. Beautiful. Cat cow. Few rounds here. Fabulous. Let's come all the way to neutral spine. Cross your right ankle over your left. Then just slowly walk yourself back and over your legs. And voila, you're in a cross-legged position. So, square pose. Left leg in front. However, if you started with the left leg in front, then just switch it up because you can still do all the other stuff the same. So, make sure that you have the legs as parallel as you can. And we'll just hang out. So you might notice differences between the sides. You might notice differences in your ability to sit here and be tall and breathe. Notice what you notice. And if you've been practicing with me for a while and, reading the newsletters and all of this stuff, if you've been paying attention to what's happening in the world of yoga, you know that nervous system regulation is a big, big, big part of the practice. And there's a lot of, hype around all the different ways that we can regulate the nervous system. Somatic practice being a wonderful inclusion to your practices. However, when it comes to nervous system regulation, yoga and mindfulness has been scientifically proven again and again and again to be one of the most effective ways to not only alleviate symptoms of things like PTSD, which includes all sorts of stuff like anxiety and depression and so on, but yoga gives us this ability to regulate our nervous system without needing to think about it. That's the feeling you get as you continue through your practice, when you start feeling more and more grounded, when you start feeling more connected to yourself, when you start feeling less concerned about the opinions of the outside world and more concerned with the authenticity of the richness of your heart and soul coming through. That's a regulated nervous system. So there are many ways, right, to climb the mountain. But this tried and true technique of thousands and thousands of years is an essential tool in coming home to ourselves. And that is being regulated in our nervous system. Continue to breathe in and out. We've got a little bit longer here, just preparing the body on this side. Okay, so from here, nice and easy, we're just starting to lean to the right so we can bring the sole of the left foot to the mat. And then just bring it back to square pose. Okay, let's do it again. Left foot comes out, and then left foot comes back to deer. Then we step forward and back to square pose. So getting all these spaces moving, right? So we'll do that again. Left foot steps out, steps back, deer, and then just bring it forward one more time. Foot on the mat, shin comes across. We're doing extra because the left side's usually tighter on people. Left foot comes out, we shift to deer. Now we'll hold here for a sec. Just breathe in and breathe out. Notice any shifts in your hips. Notice if you can have your sit bones both flat. If you can't, that's okay, because we're moving on. So let's shift to the right again. Now we're extending the left leg back, but just keep the knee and the toes open. So you're kind of in a lazy feeling pigeon, not really adjusting anything, just getting the movement, and slide the knee back up. Awesome. Let's slide back again. So lean over, slide the leg back, tuck the toes. Yeah, and just notice that feeling. See if your knee can lift and get really long through the back leg. Yeah, and then lower the knee down, slide the knee back to deer pose. Dun dun dun, here we go, all the way back with left leg. Toes tuck, knee lifts. This helps you get the inward rotation of the left thigh. Now you can bring your hands forward, scooch around as you need to. Hips are square to the mat. Fingertips are on the mat. Back knee can drop down if you had it lifted up, and just keep getting bright through the chest. Notice any differences now. Like maybe you feel a little bit lighter, like this is a tiny, tiny bit easier than it was on the other side. One more breath in and out. Then we'll exhale. You might want to walk your hands a little forward. We're folding just halfway. You could plant your palms down. Then we'll inhale, push up. Exhale, fold. Pull your crown forward. Inhale up and fold. So if you'd like to, elbows can come down. You can go into your sleepy pigeon for a little bit of time here. Breathe in and out. And with nervous system regulation, something that sometimes people get caught up with is thinking that we always need to be perfectly regulated, but that is not realistic, and that's not really why the nervous system, like functions, right? Or how it functions. Like, it's good to be regulated, but it's also really important to learn how to take stress, right? So whether that's stress of our life every day, doing the everyday things, if it's stress in your yoga practice, right? Like putting stress into the joints and into the muscles and the ligaments, like we are in a posture like this, or stress by building your strength. All of these things are good. Even, might I say, even stress induced by trauma has actually generally been proven to result in people doing better in life. Yeah, sounds weird, but when we have things happen to us that wake us up, we generally start to live more authentically from our heart, because we were humbled in a sense, right? We're put into the place of recognizing, like, oh, right, we don't have infinite time here, right? And there's that famous quote of the Buddha: the trouble is you think you have time. So we don't want to avoid stress, is what I'm saying. We want to learn how to cope with it better. Let's breathe in, come all the way up, onto the hands, upper body's up. Mindfully lean to the right, pull the left leg forward to deer, step the foot forward on the mat. It's all programmed in. Hands reach forward, roll over your right leg, hands come down. Mindfully adjust your back leg, back, 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 into your dragon lunge. So the knee faces down. You might want your block or bolster. Left toes, heel toe out to the left. Toes point to the left. And you can let your left knee start to open up. And just hang out. Maybe you stay still. Maybe you want to do little rocks, maybe tiny circles. And you don't have to. See what works. I know for myself, especially times where I was rehabbing injuries in my hamstrings and in my glutes, doing little circles and little rocks was not helpful for me at all. It's only become helpful since healing those things. So remember, like, this is your practice. So work it as it suits you. Nice and easy. We'll come into stillness if you are moving around. The left toes can point back forward so we can lower into our dragon's pose with the forearms down. Now, of course, have whatever support you need, and optional, again, if you'd like to play a bit with opening the left knee and having the sole of the foot off the mat, by all means, play with it. We have a little time here, so you can dance between the two positions as you please, or just stay in one. Either is fantastic, as long as you can breathe. See if you can work, again, the breath into the back side of your body. Feel your chin pull away from your chest just the tiniest bit. Ease the tension out of your jaw. And we'll come into stillness if you are moving around. The toes point forward, palms come down onto the ground. Now draw your belly in and pull the hips back in space. Sole of left foot stays on the mat to start. We feel our chest pull forward. And then we'll shine the toes to the ceiling, flare them back to the face, maybe spread them out. Feel your left hip just pull back that tiniest bit. Beautiful. One more breath. Now, nice and easy as you exhale, we're just shifting the left foot over to the left. Step behind yourself, plant the foot down, right foot plants down, hips lift, left arm reaches forward. Press your heels down, open through the low back. Then nice and easy, start to lower hips until you feel safe to lower right knee. And the left side comes down. We're in our table pose, cat-cow. Follow your breath, move nice and easy. Few more rounds. Beautiful. Let's come into neutral tabletop. And child's pose. Sit the hips to the heels. Extend your arms forward. Let your forehead come down. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's roll all the way up to seated on the shins. Beautiful. Now from here, sweep the feet out from underneath you and return to deer pose on the right. So of course, use whatever props you may need to feel supported here if you want to sit on your blanket, but you might have a lot more opening than before. Complete breath in. As we breathe out, lean to the left, step your right foot forward. Hands, reach for the sole of the right foot. Right leg extends upward. Chest pulls toward the toes, toes reach for the ceiling. And slightly away from us, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's bend the left knee, or the right knee, sorry. Release the hands, sweep the right leg to deer pose. Beautiful. Okay, sweep the right leg forward, bring it into the hands right away, and extend the leg. Fabulous. Another full breath in. Now, as you breathe out, bring your left hand to the outer right foot. Now your right arm sweeps back to the wall behind you, and optional to lengthen your left leg forward and maybe even float it off of the floor. Full inhale and exhale. Bring your left leg in if you lengthened out. Right hand forward. Hands back around the foot. Bend the right knee. Deer pose. Breathe in and breathe out. Right hand toward the right foot or to the floor behind you. Hips start to lift. Left hand reaches up and back. And pull the hips down. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale up. You can look to your right foot. Exhale down. Hips pull back and down. We go up, hips slide forward and up, open your heart. And we go down as the hips pull back. Sweep the feet over to the left. Deer pose. Pausing here. Lean to the left. Step the left foot forward. Hands come to the left foot. Left foot floats up. And we lengthen the leg. Breathe in and out. We'll bend the knee. Release the foot. Come back to deer. Lean to the right. Bring the foot around. Grab it. Lengthen the leg. Sit tall. Reach the toes away. Beautiful. We'll bend the knee. Release the foot. Bring it back to deer. Awesome. Okay, let's do that one more time. Lean it over, sweep all the way forward without touching the ground. Grab your foot, extend the leg to your edge. Now you can stay here, or optional, right hand slides to the outer edge of the left foot. Right hand, or left hand, sorry, sweeps back as we rotate. You can hold right here. If available, right leg can lengthen out, the foot can stay on the ground. If available, you can float the leg up. And just see how it feels here. If right leg was floating, bring it back in, just nice and easy. Left hand sweeps forward, hands around either side of the foot. We bend the knee, deer pose. Pausing for a moment here. Left hand can come to the left foot or to the mat. You're going to see what works better for you. Hips float forward and up. So right hand sweeps up. Then the hips pull back and down. All the way up, hips lift. You can also push your hand into your left calf. That can be helpful as well. And then come down. Can be a little awkward to, because you're moving there more, but you might find it helpful. Then one more time, all the way up. You got it. And we'll come down. Nice. Legs lengthen out in front. Give them a little shake. And you may want to sit on your blanket. You may want to have your blanket or bolster rolled up behind your legs. You're going to do what suits you best. So if your pelvis doesn't want to quite sit straight here, then just use one of those or both of those options and see what feels good. We aim to have legs straight, but again, the hip position is a higher priority. So have your knees bent as needed. Fingers, we'll start with them on the mat behind us, pointing away. So just sit tall. Feel your chest just lift that tiny bit. Your shoulders stack over your hips. Maybe even just look down for a sec, check yourself out. Shoulders are over hips. Make sure all 10 toes are pointing up, and if you can, have the big toes touching and spread your toes out. Just breathe all the way in. And as you breathe out, draw your belly in. Your fingers can stay where they are or walk closer toward you. You push the fingers down to slide your chest forward into a fold. Now we're aiming to have the belly on the thighs. I know that the ego always is thinking about, oh, how can I reach my toes? Can I reach my toes? Think about your hips and your core. This is the foundation. That's what we need. When your foundation is set, you'll be able to reach your feet no problem. So just keep that in mind. But until your foundation is set, it will indeed be a challenge. So work to draw your belly in, back, and then your chest down. So imagine flattening your upper body onto your lower body. Now, you can walk your fingers in a little closer to help you edge into your fold. When it's available, your hands can float forward to your feet. And I say float forward because notice my body doesn't change when I change my hand position because I have the foundation already set. So if you're back here and you go to here and this happens or this happens, go back here because you need to keep the strength integrated. But if you're here and you're holding and staying and your hands float, then stay there. You've reached a new level in your posture. And if you get the feet, then you can pull your chest further forward and fold a little deeper, looking at the space between your knees or calves. Still thinking about your upper body flattening onto your lower body. Your elbows work toward the ground outside the calves. Breathe in, breathe out. And take your time, nice and slow. Walk your hands up your legs, bring your upper body up. Okay, so you'll want to go widthwise on your mat for this. So just step back one leg so that you can go wide with both legs facing the long edge of your mat. Now you may still be seated on your blanket, totally fine. You may prefer to have blocks behind your knees and the knees bent. That's totally fine too. Again, it's just a matter of your pelvis being in the correct position. And how can you tell? You can sit up tall, no problem. And if you think about it, you can draw your pubic bone to your sternum and do a little crunch with ease, just a tiny movement. And you can pull your chest forward and your bum back with ease. So you can find your sweet spot on your sit bones. All 10 toes are facing up. Now draw your belly inward and close the eyes just for a moment. Check in with the alignment of your spine. And as you exhale, rotate your chest to the right. With eyes closed, just drop your hands onto the ground either side of your right leg. Keeping your eyes closed, twist a little deeper, visualizing your sternum aligning with your right leg. Just visualize it in your mind's eye. Feel it through the body. Now open your eyes, check out your alignment, and slowly bow over your right leg. So it's a gentle fold. Your left sit bone stays glued down. Breath in and out of the nose, working to expand through the lungs. Feel your lungs get wide, especially around the bottom. And we'll inhale, take your time, come all the way up. Cross through center. And just walk your hands either side of the left leg. So take your time here though, your fingers are on the mat. Pull your belly button in. Think of rotating your belly in to rotate your ribs to the left. Your sternum is moving. So just tiny bits, tiny bits. And as you're all settled in there, take a gentle bow over your left leg. Right sit bone stays glued down, elbows cinch inward. Can you feel the length of your spine, of the right side of your body? Notice your breath. And nice and easy. Let's come all the way up. Gently bring yourself back to face center. And on an exhale, slowly inch your chest forward and down. Be mindful of any shifting position in your hips and legs. We want all 10 toes still facing up. So sometimes there will be a tendency to just want to go deeper and deeper, but then your legs start to round inward. That's your body saying you've gone deep enough. So go to the space where you can soften. You might bring your chest down, but maybe not. It takes, I don't know, like everyone's different, right? Everybody has different levels of flexibility. Certainly took me a long time to get to this place. You know, most kids have a lot of flexibility, so if you're like under the age of 8, then you can probably do this no problem. But you know, if you have worked any athletics, or if you haven't, you know, things like this get progressively more difficult. But it's important to work these spaces, because even if it feels impossible right now, it actually is possible in the body. It just might take longer than the ego is willing to put out, but it is possible. So soften into that space. That's a big part of nervous system regulation too, is letting go of expectation and allowing yourself to simply be who you are. And letting go of expectation does not mean that we stop trying, or that we stop having goals, or any of that, or that we stop, you know, aiming to improve ourselves, whatever that means for us. But it's stop expecting so much of yourself outside of the present moment, and instead be with yourself in the present moment and recognize that you're already there. You're already exceeding your own expectations in so many ways. Nice and easy, take your time. Walk yourself up, move nice and slow. It's a big stretch. Hands come to the inner knees. We lean back just enough so we can easily bring the soles of the feet together. Slide them in, slide them in. Grab your ankles, draw the heels in toward your perineum. Sit tall, puff your chest out a little bit, feel your elbows pull back. You can choose to stay here. Also, work to bring the outer knees down. So you could choose to pull your chest a little further forward, bring your hands onto your knees and just press them down. Your chest can continue to come forward, but as you push down, it's to engage awareness in your mind with the muscles. So eventually you let your hands go and let them come forward and down, maybe palms to the mat. But your legs are kind of like locked into the place that they'll be for the next few cycles of breath. Your chest slides just the slightest bit forward, so you could imagine that your belly button starts to align over the feet. Doesn't need to get there today, doesn't ever need to get there, just think of the journey. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice and easy. Start to lift your arms up, lean back so you can gather your knees, give the legs a little shake. Then we'll sweep legs around back, Get your bolster though. We'll lay it widthwise across the mat. And we're shifting into a sphinx pose with the support of the bolster underneath the chest. So make sure that your breathing is not bothered here. So it shouldn't be pushing into your lower ribs and cutting off your breath. Just find that spot where it's like, okay, I can hang out here. Then cinch your elbows into the bolster so that you've now got the support of your forearms and your humerus bones. Now from here, feel the tops of your feet push down and your knees lift just a little bit. And feel your chest get more open as you do that. Now your pubic bone pushes down a little more. Now push your palms down and float your elbows off the floor. So you no longer have the support underneath you likely. That's okay, that's good. Breathe in. Now as you breathe out, come all the way back down and just let everything soften. Take a bow halfway. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we'll come up. Inhale, optional sphinx. Exhale, lower elbows down and bow. Inhale, we'll come up. Again, optional sphinx, your elbows do not have to lift at all. And we come down and bow. And we'll come back to neutral sphinx. So head is lifted, elbows are down. Bend your knees. Breathe in and breathe out. Look over your right shoulder to see your feet. Look center and over to the left side. See your feet there. And we'll look forward. Continue to pause here. Optional, elbows float and lower. You can bow. 2 more of those. Inhale up. Again, the float with the elbows is optional. You don't have to do it. I know you know that though, because technically you don't have to do any of this. Let's inhale one more time. Come all the way up. And down. Sphinx pose with your knees still bent. And just let the feet walk, windshield wipe side to side. Beautiful. All right, let's come to stillness. Let the legs come down. Bring your right knee over to the right. You're bending it up. Inner edge of the foot is on the mat. Sole of right foot floats up. Reach it to the ceiling-ish. And then down and up and down. 3 more. Just get into all of that grime there. Let it work through. Good. And we'll bring the foot down. Bend your left knee. Bring your right elbow onto your bolster as you just kind of start turning to the right. Your right hand could come onto your outer right thigh or your sacral bone. You choose and twist. You might grab your left ankle with your right hand and just see how that feels. You might bring your left heel a little more across the midline to the right, gently. And then push your left foot to the left, so you're pushing into your right hand just a little. Then ease off, let it come back in toward the midline. Oh yeah. And then slowly push the left foot back to the left, let go of the grip if you had it, lengthen your left leg down. Ooh la la, lengthen right leg down. Okay, left side, left knee comes up to the left, inner edge of the foot's on the mat. So you want to feel relatively relaxed here going through this. Left foot floats up and down and up and down. So 3 more times, just nice and smooth. Notice what you notice. Nice. 1 more time. We'll bring the foot down. Keep the knee bent. Right knee bends now, sole of foot behind you. You can just start looking over your left shoulder. You could stay there, or left elbow can come onto the bolster. Left hand could also come to the back of the hip, so the sacral bone. We'll just breathe in and breathe out. And then options, right? You can stay where you are. You may be able to reach your left hand for your right ankle. I know this gets to be a lot. And then maybe you can work your right heel moving slightly more to the left. And then slightly back to the right. Then move it into the midline. Just find your edge. And move it out to the right. Take your time. Maybe you want to go back to the midline 1 more time. Release your grip with the left arm. Bring your right leg back neutral all the way down. Left leg lengthens down. Breathe in, breathe out. Take your time. Push into your elbows enough so you can slide the bolster out from underneath you and turn over onto your back. Knees bent, feet on the mat. Then bring your right knee into your chest. Breathe in and breathe out. Now step your right foot down and bring your left knee into your chest. Sole of left foot comes down. Grab your block. Place it either on its lowest or medium setting underneath your hips. So you lift your hips, send the block under. If you have a lot of tension in your lower back or in your core, start lower. Shoulder blades are flat. Bring your right knee in toward your chest. Move nice and easy. Your balance is going to be different. Hands come behind the thigh, because that'll make it a lot easier. Just let your elbows drop here. So really get the upper body feeling safe. And optional to lengthen your left leg down. So as your right knee draws tiny bits closer in toward you, your left toes reach tiny bits away from you. And all the while, your shoulder blades stay flat. Your breath is easily moving in and out of the nose. Drag your left heel along the ground to plant the foot down. Mindfully release your right leg. Place that foot on the mat and bring your left knee in, hands behind the thigh or the knee. Pause here. And we'll lengthen the right leg out if that's available. Definitely no pressure. We'll pause wherever you're at, enjoying this beautiful stretch for the psoas muscles, support for the hips and the lymphatic system. Notice your breathing. Nice and easy. Drag your right heel along the mat to place the foot down, and then place your left foot down. Breathe all the way in, adjust your shoulder blades a little closer together and push your feet down, lift your hips up. If you can adjust your block higher, one more setting, then do it. And if you can't, that's okay. Let your hips rest back down on your block wherever you're at. Arms can relax out to the sides, maybe even interlace the fingers behind your back if you happen to be on one of the higher settings of your block. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, right knee stacks over the right hip, left knee stacks over left hip. If you are on the highest point of your block, you need to be very mindful here because it can slip out. So your big toes touch. Slowly work to straighten your legs. Pause here. See if you can spread your toes. Just nice and easy. We bend the knees now, go slow. It can get tippy. Nice and easy. Lower your toes down. Look at all that space. If you had fingers interlaced, just release them. Pause here where you're at. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your heels heavy into the ground. Notice the release that comes through the back body when you do that. Now push your heels down, lift your hips up. Your hips are higher than your block. You slide your block out from underneath you. Keep your hips up. Push your heels down in the ground as you keep lifting your hips and almost pushing yourself a little longer here. You might inch your feet away from you. Your toes can point out to the sides, but you can start to work longer legs. So your feet can effectively slide toward the long edge of your mat or the short edge of your mat as you find an extended bridge. And if you did that, walk the heels back in. Then on your next exhale, we lower top to bottom. Feel your belly pull in so every little bit can release. Yowza. Both knees in for a hug. Rock side to side. Notice how flat your lower back is to the mat, well, your whole back, really. So let's dig into some circles. So bring yourself to stillness, hands on the kneecaps, legs stay together, circle one direction. Easy circles. Reverse, go the other way. So try to cover the whole sacral area with your circles here. Keep circling the same way, right ankle over left. Breath in and out. And circle the other way. Switch your ankles. Breathe in, breathe out. Now release your knees, let your arms come out to the sides. Nice. Beautiful circles. So keep going same direction. Cross right ankle over left again. Beautiful. Reverse the direction of the knees. Switch the cross of the ankles. Fabulous. Notice all the space you have. Come all the way to stillness, uncross the ankles. Arms are in a cactus or a T position, depending on the space you have. Legs stay together. Lower them over and down to the right elbow. Left shoulder is probably going to come off the ground. That's fine. Your left arm can relax however is more comfortable for you. Cactus might not feel great anymore, but just see what you can do here. Breathe in, breathe out. We'll come back, squeeze the legs, come all the way to center, to the left. And let's come back to center. Hug the right knee in, lengthen your left leg down. Breathe in. And move into a twist on the breath out. Right knee over and down to the left. You could choose to place the knee on your bolster or block. Right fingers extend out to the right. Breathe in and breathe out here. You could look to the right if it feels good on your neck. Take your time, come back to center. Left knee pulls in, right leg lengthens down. Give yourself a lovely twist to the other side. Find your edge. Nice and easy. Come all the way back. We got one more. Right thigh crossing over left. Shimmy the hips to the right a little bit. Lower your knees over and down to the left. Twisted roots. You can get your knees up higher to your left elbow. You can push your left arm and elbow down to help you get a deeper twist. Remember to breathe. And nice and easy, return to center. Undo the legs. Left side. Shimmy the hips to the left. Knees pull in, over and down to the right. And find your edge here. Easy breath in and out of the nose. And nice and easy. Come all the way back. Lengthen out your legs, one at a time. Relax your arms where is comfortable, maybe out to sides, about 45 degrees. Maybe you want your arms overhead instead. Close down through your eyes. Make sure your neck feels long. Chin is slightly into throat. And just start to scan through your body as you breathe. So bring your attention to your left foot. Inhale up the left leg, all the way up the left side of the body to the crown. And exhale down your right side, all the way from top to bottom. And then inhale up the right side, scanning all the way up to crown. And exhaling all the way down the left. Inhale up the left side. Exhale down the right side. Inhale up the right side. Exhale down the left. So continue with this pattern. And notice that naturally you start doing alternate nostril breathing as you scan the body from left to right and right to left. This natural alternate nostril breathing helps to, again, regulate the nervous system, just like our entire practice does. And also in yoga philosophy, this breath helps us to clear the pathways of energy or the nadis throughout the body, all 72,000 of them. Feel your body soften and release and relax. Deepen through your breath. Let it go. Let's inhale to reach the arms overhead. Enjoy a lovely long stretch. And release. Drag the heels along the ground, knees into chest. Give yourself a hug. Nice, easy rock side to side. We'll roll over to the right and slowly then up into a seat. Crossing through the legs, sitting tall. Nice full breath in as we bring our palms to Anjali Mudra. Softening your shoulders as you exhale. And just noticing all the ways that you take the time to regulate your nervous system and stress your nervous system every day. And notice that the more you practice, the more you're able to step back and be witness, the more you're able to be in the moment, and the more you're able to align your energies with less drama and more dharma. Let's draw a complete breath in of loving gratitude into ourselves, and a full breath out of loving gratitude for everyone else. And thank you for our practice today. Namaste. And of course, I hope you feel super fantastic and moved in at least a few ways. Let me know how it went for you, and we'll see you again soon. Much love, everyone. Bye.